What is going on, everybody? I am Rob Westerman, the third of GBP Daily, and thank you for tuning into the Rob Westerman Show. You can find me all over the social sphere at GBP Daily. Shoot me a follow, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit me up in the DMs. I am always available to talk Packers anytime, any day, and today is Sunday, January 11th. The Packers season is over. A heartbreaker last night, like my man Richard in the chat saying, it still hurts. Go Pack, go. Javier, that Packers loss sucked. A heartbreaker last night. And if I'm being honest, I was not surprised one bit by the collapse. We all saw it. We all saw the wheels turning in that direction, especially obviously in the second half. We just saw that same movie a few weeks ago against this same Chicago team, an epic collapse all around, from the defense giving up 25 fourth quarter points to Jordan Love and the offense not doing anything. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. From Jordan Love in the offense, not doing a single thing coming out of half. I think it was 3 or 4 straight 3-and-outs. All we needed to do coming out of halftime was to score a touchdown, and that game was over. Instead, we go 3-and-out, 3 straight times? And the fourth time being getting 1 first down and then punting. The entirety of the second half, we did absolutely nothing on offense outside of that 1 touchdown. And that 1 touchdown was followed up by a missed extra point by Brandon McManus. And that was not his only miss last night either. He missed a field goal right before half that we all remember too well, and then missed the 44-yarder in the fourth quarter. And like I said last night on the socials, it's a 44-yarder. It's not a 58. It's not a 60-yarder. It's not a 50-yarder. It's 44 yards. You have to hit that every single time. And Brandon McManus has failed to do that more often than not. I believe he finished the year 3 of 9 for his kicks from 40 yards or longer. I hope that was his last game as a Packer, if I am being completely honest. I am over the Brandon McManus experiment. I have not enjoyed it one bit, and I think last night was the nail in the coffin. So special teams overall costed us big time. Once again, we have all seen this movie many, many times, especially in the playoffs, especially this year, right? We don't have to go too far back to remember a special teams blunder against the same team, Romeo Doubs muffing the onside kick. If you recover the onside kick, you win that game. You probably go on to win the NFC North, and this game would have never happened. So last night, again, Brandon McManus missing 2 field goals, missing an extra point. The punt coverage was terrible. Zane Anderson and Bo Melton being out is the reason behind that. They have been great all year, being the Gunners on punt coverage. And without them, we saw what happened last night without them on the field. Even with all that, we got extremely lucky on the fumble bounces. We finally have some fumble luck in the playoffs, and we still can't come away with a win. It hurts me. The Christian Watson fumble in the end zone that Romeo Doubs recovered, that could have gone wrong in so many ways. And literally the best case scenario came about from that, with Rome falling on it in the end zone. He could have fumbled it outside the end zone. That would have been a touchback. He could have fumbled it, out of bounds or whatever. But he fumbled it. Thank the Lord that Romeo Doubs fell on that one. The Josh Jacobs fumble on the kickoff return. Thankfully, Keaton Oladapo recovered that one. And then finally, Darian Kennard, the big man, was rumbling and stumbling. And I swear to you, when he caught that ball, and was carrying the ball with his hand way out there, I was just yelling at the TV, just saying, hold on to the ball. And then, of course, it gets punched out. And somehow, instead of recovering it, the Bears defender knocks it out of bounds. And we get lucky again. Just some crazy things happening last night. And all of them went our way, luck-wise. And that never happens in the playoffs, especially for us. And luck was finally on our side there, and we still came away with a loss. My man Jabs Diaz in the house. I am still not over it. It's still the wound is very fresh, and that one's not going to heal for a while. I will say this season overall sucked. I love watching Packers football more than anything, but this was a season from hell. So many injuries, mainly to our top guys, losing games that we had no business losing. Jordan Love was lights out when he was playing, which, he missed some time as well. Josh Jacobs was injured for the second half of the year. I would go over the list of guys who missed time, but it is literally too long. So a season from hell, and it is over. There's nothing that I would have loved more than to go on a run in this year's playoffs, but we just aren't made to run with the big dogs just yet. So what else we got here? I want to give a big shout out to TickPick. Been promoting them all season long. They are the best in the biz. Any tickets, they've got them, and they guarantee the cheapest tickets on the market. Doesn't matter if it's a Packers game, a Bucks game, a Badgers basketball game, a Brewers baseball game. They guarantee the cheapest tickets on the markets. If you find cheaper tickets elsewhere for any sport, any team, they will refund you your money 110% back. Download the TickPick app and use TickPick for your ticket needs. TickPick is the best in the biz. Shout out to TickPick. They have been a great partner. Let's hop into the comment section here, shall we? And as always, if you want to be a part of the show, give me a call on the Nicolet Law hotline, 319-242-2332. The Midwest Injury Law firm that actually shows up when you need them. If you have been hurt in a crash, fall, or another accident, the last thing that you want to deal with is the insurance companies and paperwork. Nicolet Law takes that off your plate so you can focus on healing up. They walk you through your options. They handle the insurance companies and fight to get you what is fair. No upfront fees, no guesswork, just local attorneys who have your back. Call 1-800-NICOLET or visit nicolet.com. What do we got going on in the comments section? A lot of doom and gloom comments, rightfully so. The positive takeaway from yesterday, I think my personal positive takeaway was Matthew Golden. He finally was given some targets, some action, and that touchdown that he had was probably up there as far as the coolest plays of the year, which isn't really saying a whole lot, even though it was great. We didn't have a ton of big-time plays or turnovers, all those things, but he went out there and balled out yesterday, and I am happy for him. Ended the year on a great note after what was a pretty underwhelming rookie season. Not all his fault, right? He was not given the ample opportunities that everybody else was, but loved seeing Matthew Golden out there balling out finally. So shout out to MG. He was on one yesterday. What else we got? My man Nick, I saw a post saying it'll be hard to bring back both Quay and Dobbs. I feel like if we got to pick, we have to go with Quay, right? We have enough wide receiver help. I really don't want to see Quay go. I think Romeo Dobbs' time in Green Bay is over, and admittedly, I am okay with that. He did disappear for a few weeks not too long ago, and I don't know. I think Romeo's done. That's kind of where my head's at as far as if he'll be back or not. But I think Romeo's gone. I hope Quay is back. He has really stepped up this year, and he was a little inconsistent here and there, dealing with some injuries and whatnot. But him and Edgerrin together, I think, are a great duo. You've got him and Edgerrin at linebacker, Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney at safety, Javon Bullard in the nickel. I think that's a great core as far as the middle guys go. The cornerback room, that just needs to be blown up. We just don't have the guys. They've showed it to us week in and week out that they cannot hang with NFL wide receivers. So we saw Keyshawn Nixon last night. I saw a video of him that looked like he made a business decision, right, with DeAndre Swift going into the end zone. Now it's hard to tell if he was already in the end zone before he gave up, or I don't know. But from what it looked like he made a business decision, not hitting him at the goal line. He just kind of hopped out of the way. There ain't no room for that in the NFL. I do not understand. I just don't. How you are not playing 100% to the whistle is just beyond me. I don't get it. If you're playing 100%, giving it your all, and it's still not good enough, then at least you're giving it your all. I just do not get what I saw out of Keyshawn last night, especially from that video clip that is surfacing on social media. So, Aaron, part of me is sad that it's over, and another part of me is relieved. I get what you are saying 100%. It was just a painful season, right? We did do better in the NFC North, and that was great and all, but every game, guys were dropping like flies. There were virtually no turnovers all year long. There weren't very many big-time touchdown plays. Absolutely zero special teams plays were made that were worth cheering for. Micah Parsons was about the only player that made this defense fun to watch. And although Jordan was playing like an MVP most of the time, he was behind an offensive line that was one of the worst in the league. So it seemed like he was under attack, every other drop back. And with that offensive line being so bad, the run game was virtually non-existent. And looking back now, I think Tucker Kraft was the player I had the most fun watching. And he, unfortunately, as we all know, only got to play for the first third of the year. So just an all-around season that will be easily forgotten. That is for sure. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you as always. What else we got? My man Nick in the house. I think Matt can develop talent as a good head coach. Lost it there. And is a good head coach, but when it's time to win a Super Bowl, he can't do it. I think it's time to move on. Max one more year, and it should be Super Bowl or fired. Nick, I completely get what you're saying, and I know that Ed Policy and everybody else on the board are going to be looking into this pretty deeply, but I just have a feeling that they are going to come to an extension with Matt. I do. I don't know. One more here to piggyback off of yours. Lauren is in here saying LaFleur staying or going. I think he stays. He had his presser today, and it's obviously impossible to read between the lines, right? But he sounded like someone who is still excited and expecting to be the coach moving forward. And I honestly think he will be. I think they extend him. Do I want him to be? I do. Was there a part of me last night that thought it was time to really clean house and revamp the culture and everything that comes with that, at 1265? Definitely. There are a lot of factors on why we weren't as good as we were supposed to be this year, injuries being one of them. And quite frankly, guys just not playing like they are paid to play, right? Aaron Banks was a flop in free agency. Nate Hobbs was a complete flop. Both those guys were flops. And Rashawn Gary, probably the most obvious one. To put it lightly, he was terrible during the second half of the year. The effort was awful. Everything. I saw, I think it was Ross Uglum tweet last night that he did not make a tackle behind the line of scrimmage for like 2 months. And that is just ridiculous. So, it's just when you see clips of him jogging, after Caleb Williams as he's rolling out of the pocket, you wonder why he's even out there. honestly. It's painful to watch. And I'm sure the guys on the team, I'm sure, are probably in pain watching that too. They're out there giving it their all, and there Rashawn Gary is jogging after Caleb Williams while the play is still happening. So everything was terrible for Rashawn for the second half of the year, which is just so crazy. He was good during the first half of the year. He's been pretty good during his Packers tenure, and he just absolutely disappeared in the second half of this year. So guys underperformed and got soft in big time moments. So I don't think it's all on LaFleur, but of course, as he says himself, the buck stops with him. He's got to make sure that he puts guys out there that are going to give it their all. And that was not the case with a few guys this year. So thank you, Lauren, and thank you, Nick, for chiming in. Appreciate you guys as always. What else we got? Let Jeff Hafley go and no more Rich Bisaccia. Yep, Jeff Hafley will probably be taking a head coaching job somewhere else, which I think Jeff Hafley is a little bit overrated, if I don't say so myself. Our defense has been pretty meh, pretty terrible since Micah went out. And even before that, we just weren't up to snuff. And I don't know. I think Jeff Hafley is a little overrated, but don't attack me on that one. Brandon McManus needs to go. Also, Rashawn Gary, the whole cornerback room. Yeah, I believe and hope that we saw Rashawn Gary's last game as a Packer. Same goes for Brandon McManus. Same goes for Keyshawn Nixon. Rashawn and Keyshawn just didn't seem like guys that deserve to be out there, and they were. So, and the effort clips that I've been seeing on social media are just like, man, how are you not going 100% when the game is happening? I don't get it. And that penalty by Nixon was just, come on, man. Come on. And it was stupid anyways because he never even jumped on the pile. He jumped over the pile. That was just stupid. So, what else we got? Cameron in the house. The Bears are actually such a bad team that it makes everything even worse. You're not lying, Cameron. Them being not a great team makes obviously us look even worse. And that's reality. The Bears played terrible for the majority of the game yesterday, and we somehow let them get back into the game. And you got to give them credit. They were just clawing away and away and away. Their defense got after us in the second half. Their offense scored 25 points in the fourth quarter, which is insane. That fourth quarter, that's 15 minutes of football, and we had the ball for some of those minutes in the fourth quarter, obviously. And they scored 25 points. It's insane. Big time choke. And I'm not sure how, but every postseason, it seems to be one of the newest heartbreaking losses, in the playoffs in recent memory. You are up 21-3, and you lose against a Caleb Williams-led offense. He's under 50% completion percentage, had 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, but he showed up when they needed him. And, yeah, it's embarrassing. It's not like you were playing the Eagles or the Rams or the 49ers, with some pretty good talent on offense. I wouldn't have been as down bad about it, but the Bears makes everything even worse with the level of talent on their offense. Our defense can be thanked for that, giving up 25 fourth quarter points. Just inexcusable, right? It proved that we didn't belong in the playoffs last night, which is tough. 4-game losing streak, you kind of back your way into the playoffs. I don't know how we were even able to make the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak. Just insane. Joseph, any bright spots to take away from last night? Not a whole lot, Joseph, but I do think a loss like this will force some sort of change within the organization, which I think we need, specifically the coaching staff. Like I said earlier, I think LaFleur is here to stay, which I am on board with. But Adam Stenavich as the offensive coordinator is someone they'll probably move on from. Luke Butkus, the offensive line coach, I think they have no choice but to move on from him. And I feel like that's just kind of the tip of the iceberg, right? I think they kind of need a clean house and surround Matt with a better coaching staff. Rich Bisaccia goes without saying, right? He's got to be gone. But we'll see, though. We shall see. All right, guys. Oh, man. Some of these comments. I love you guys. This is funny. Honestly, if the Packers would have won, the Seahawks would have roasted us badly. And Derek, that's where, and maybe I'm super optimistic and, glad, very biased or whatever. I actually thought if we could get past the Bears and all that division familiarity and all that stupid mojo between us and the Bears, that we would have had a decent shot against the Seahawks. But clearly that doesn't matter because we couldn't even get past the Bears after being up 21-3. So after the fact, yeah, I think you're right, Derek. The Seahawks probably would have roasted us. Sam Darnold probably would have went off against our defense, who is as a whole just horrid. So yeah, season is over. Content never stops, though. As you guys know, I will be here all off season. We're probably going to kind of recap the season here over the next couple weeks, talk about some things that are happening in real time, with the coaching staff and tidbits about players we might be moving on from, all that stuff. And then we get into free agency and then the draft. And then next thing you know, we are back at OTAs and minicamp and a little summer break. And then we are full-fledged back on for training camp 2026. The season is over, but the content is not. I will be here all off season. So that is going to do it for me tonight. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Always love talking Packers with you guys. Hit me up on social media at GBP Daily. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Any sort of interaction helps myself and helps the page. I will be